Welcome to a well-designed home podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Brunk, Principal Interior Designer at Timeless Designs by Melissa. We are a premier full-service interior design studio serving Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Iowa Great Lakes, Mankato, and Rochester, Minnesota. Our mission is to create enduring, bespoke homes that celebrate a life well lived. With over 20 years of industry experience, we craft personal havens where every detail reflects the essence of your family, evoking feelings of joy, belonging, and pure delight. Join us as we transform the building and remodeling industry, one home at a time, because there's no place like your home. All right, welcome to today's episode of A Well-Designed Home. Today, I should start with, I'm Melissa, your host. I am the red shoe wearing interior designer because there's no place like your home. And today we're talking to Nick Faini, and we're going to talk about jewelry and the proper way to store your jewelry and the things that you need to consider if you're building or remodeling. So thanks, Nick, for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, who are you and what is your story?
I'm Nick Faini. I am a third generation at Faini Designs Jewelry Studio. So my brother and I are third generation currently. This is our 75th year in jewelry.
That's impressive.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, we started for the first 50 years in jewelry repair and custom design for other jewelry stores.
Mm-hmm.
In the year 2000, my father Gerard decided to take our services and offer it to the public. So for the last 25 years, we've been in retail as well. So, yeah, we are a full-service jewelry store specializing in custom design, diamonds, jewelry repair, basically your one-stop shop for jewelry.
Aha. All right. Okay, so what do you think that has allowed your business to evolve and stay relevant for jewelry design?
I think a lot of it, for jewelry design specifically, I think a lot of it is trust. I think when people have, and I can say the same thing about jewelry repairs, but so jewelry design and jewelry repairs, there's a lot of trust that goes into it because you're leaving your piece of jewelry, whether it be a pendant or a ring, with somebody to have it repaired or have it redesigned. We do a lot of designing where we take other people's heirlooms that they pull together. We use their gold, their diamonds. It's a trust factor, and I think that's what's helped us establish who we are in the community. Is our clients that come to us, they know they're going to be in good hands. I think that's probably the biggest part of jewelry is trusting who you're working with.
Yeah, and you've been around for a very long time, which is super impressive.
Yeah, thank you. It helps.
So what was it like? So you grew up in the industry. So what was your experience growing up and being a part of the jewelry industry?
I guess I say it'd be very fortunate because I got to, my first job was as a machine engraver down at the shop. So I would come in and, sweeping floors before that. So I would sweep floors and sift through the floor dirt and hope to find maybe little diamonds or gold flakes and whatnot. Then I graduated up into the machine engraving. And so I was fortunate to be able to get into the family business, and it was never really forced upon my brother and I. It was one of those things, make sure that this is something you want to do.
You just took interest in
it. Took interest in it. Yep. I was a kind of a little mischief in my high school years, so I decided to venture out, and I joined the Navy for a number of years, and decided that I did have a passion to get back into the family business. And instead of being on the jeweler's bench, I worked on the floor helping customers design and create something. And I've been very fortunate.
Yeah. All right. So speaking about your time in the Navy, what do you find most valuable today that for your leadership that you have from the Navy into your position that you are now?
As far as
your leadership, as far as the company and your leadership role as the company.
Good question. When I was in the Navy, I was on aviation. So I was
Okay.
on the carrier and I was on the flight deck. And the flight deck is madness at times.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing I learned, because to operate the catapult system, it took a team of people literally from the front end of the ship to the back end of the ship. And it's that confidence that you had and the trust in your coworkers that if you were going to open a particular hydraulic valve, you knew that they were going to time it out and had that trust that they were going to do that on their end and do what they needed to do. So I think the thing that I took away from the Navy the most was assembling a team that you can trust. I think for any company or any venture, I think you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And we have spent years putting together what I would consider a fantastic team at Faini. And I think the Navy helped kind of guide that to put trust in the people that you have in whatever positions they do and just let them run with it and have fun with it.
Yeah, that is so important, is having the right people in the right seats of the bus, because you are only as good as your team.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what they can accomplish. Okay, so if we dive into jewelry security in the home, so what are some of the most common mistakes that you see people making when they're storing their jewelry and their valuables?
I think the biggest mistake that we see, because we've had customers that have lost or had items maybe stolen or misplaced, is the misconception that you have to have a jewelry box. And that's the first place I think somebody's going to go, or where eyes will typically be drawn if you have contractors in the house. Maybe you're doing a remodel or having people come in to do whatever in the house. Having a jewelry box on your dresser or somewhere visible, I think, is probably the biggest mistake I think people can make. If you can hide it somewhere, that would always be best.
All right. So speaking about hiding, where do we hide? Do you have like recommendations on like behind hidden artwork pieces?
Sure.
Or obviously a safe is probably the best, but where should we be hiding these valuables?
There's a number of places that you can put stuff. I know a lot of people have walk-in closets, and getting what we call like a mini safe, and you can hide those under shoe racks. You can mount them in the closet underneath clothes, where people, again, when you walk into a walk-in closet, you wouldn't really have any idea that a safe would be there. A mini safe would be the easiest way to hide something under clothes, under a shoe rack, something like that. Of course, if you can do it, a hidden safe is always great. If you can put it in the wall, put it behind a painting.
That's hidden, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, it makes it more fun too
safe.
every time you access it. But
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. There was a question on here.
I didn't know what questions you were going to ask, so I
Well,
came
made
prepared with a list of tips too of various things. But
Well, so when you mentioned contractors coming in or when things are happening in your house, so what typically are those time frames? Is it when you're having guests, when you're having work done in your home? Obviously it should be kept in a safe and hidden and in a safe, secure place. But when do those loss happen in your home typically?
usually it will be if it's left out on the dresser. Well, I've seen instances where whether you have contractors, cleaning maids, guests over, usually situations, and you don't know if it's theft. You don't know if it was simply misplaced. I know a lot of people that on their dresser, they actually have a little bowl and they'll put stuff in that as well, and that's also an easy way for things to get misplaced.
Sure.
So whether it's theft or misplaced, or I know it's a little bit more of an inconvenience to constantly go back to a safe or a secret hideaway spot, if you will, but it's probably the best, because then you know that it's in that spot and it's not out in the open.
Sure. Okay. So is that the best way to balance security and accessibility, is to have the mini safes maybe throughout your closet?
That's what I would recommend. Is to have that, and a lot of those mini safes you can have it to where it's a 4-digit quick code, pops open. There are also fingerprint ones that'll pop open, and it's doesn't take too long to get in. They even have them where they're jewelry specific, where you can have them organized in drawers, so you can have your jewelry in there. You can pull out a top drawer, will be all your rings and bracelets, and then the bottom shelf would come out in it, and it would be all your earrings and necklaces. Where it's kind of easy in, easy out.
Yeah, because accessibility is important.
It is, especially when you're getting ready and you're on the go. If you have kids,
right?
Everybody, you plan on leaving the house at 5:45, but things happen, and you want to get in and out really quick. But still have your jewelry secured and not make it where you have to do a 3-tumbler combo,
a secret dance move, and all of that. Yep. Right. Okay. So what conversations should interior designers and homeowners be having early on to plan for these things?
I would say to find out how many valuables do you have that you're gonna that you're going to want to kind of hide away or lock away, and then looking at locations in your house where you would be able to put those safes. Because there are some really cool options where you can have a safe into a walk-in closet, but it can be hidden behind a wall or a shoe rack. But it depends on what an individual wants to keep in it. There are a lot of clients that we have that don't just keep jewelry in safes. They also keep other personal, valuable items. So when you're doing your build, I think the biggest thing is what are you going to want locked away, and how close do you want to have access to it?
Sure. Okay. All of your important things, Social Security cards, passports,
yes,
those things.
All of those as well. Yep.
All right. So as far as education goes, what role does insurance play in having a conversation about having a safe and jewelry security? Do they need to be taking pictures, documenting?
Good question.
Updating appraisals and things like that?
Absolutely. I would always say, and actually this lovely little guide was, the first one was a lot of people, you want to keep an inventory, even if it's a $500 item, a $50 item, because if you have 15 $50 items, those things add up.
Sure.
Or 5 $500 items, those things add up. So we always recommend take good pictures of what you have. Keep your receipts. Electronic receipts are actually really nice too, in case of a house fire or something like that. You have an electronic version of the photographs and an electronic version of the receipt.
Okay.
And any heirlooms or any items that you deem of value, always have those appraised. And then, so your insurance company will have record of what you have as well. So if there is loss or theft or damage, you would able to go back to those appraisals. Your insurance company would have them. Your jeweler will have record of that. And it makes everything easier for whatever instance that may be.
Okay. So I was told that I needed to take my ring in every 6 months and have it cleaned and looked at. Is that also, do homeowners need to be doing those kinds of things regularly so they don't have a loss of maybe a diamond over time?
Yes, that we recommend every 6 months. However, you can do it as often as you'd like. And it's for that. It's so when you wear a ring or usually it's rings and bracelets that get the most wear. Gold is being a precious metal. It is soft and it does wear over time. Luckily, it doesn't wear as fast as tire tread does, but it is similar to tire tread. Right. It will wear over time.
Okay.
And because diamonds, specifically diamonds, can be that's harder than gold, is sometimes you have good metal on your prongs or your channels, but they kind of rock the gold loose. They rock themselves loose.
Okay.
So it's always good to have them. One, they get cleaned up really nice. But two, yes, you can check. You can find something. Maybe there's a loose stone or two in it, and it's just a simple tightening that you would need to have done. But minimum every 6 months.
Okay, and that's just the pieces you're wearing frequently, or
definitely the pieces you wear frequently.
Okay.
Now pendants, earrings, you don't really have to have them cleaned as much. I would probably say studs you want to have cleaned often, because The ladies, you have a lot of hairsprays and
Yep.
different perfumes and things that get on them. It's just good. You don't really see earrings come loose too much. It's really just to clean them up a little bit.
Sure.
Which you can buy cleaners, and we sell cleaners. You can put at home that you can clean your studs too. The ones you wear every day, yes, you want to do a minimum every 6 months.
Okay.
But we do have customers that will bring in quite a few items that they don't wear that often. They just like to have them cleaned and just
I
it's
suppose like
peace of
spring
mind.
cleaning.
Exactly.
Bring your items in, have them cleaned up, get them fresh.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Peace of mind. They look good and everything's ready to go when you do wear them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your advice for a family that's just starting to collect, or they've maybe inherited some pieces?
Inherited, definitely want to make sure you document it. If you want to make sure if you're not going to have an appraisal, at least photograph it and try to get some information on those pieces. And that we see a lot of that, where they'll inherit grandma's or aunts or somebody's jewelry down the line. They might not know what they have, so make sure, bring it into a jeweler, maybe Faini, to have them
For
look
sure.
at it and at least see what it is you have. Because a lot of times, I've even seen people come across something on Rummage that they thought was just a costume ring. Come to find out it was a 1-carat diamond ring.
Oh my goodness.
They were nice that they went back to that Rummage the next day and actually returned the ring. And they were the Rummage people that were selling it were very thankful because they had no idea. So
Sure.
with things that are handed down to you, make sure you find out what it is, document it if you're not going to have it appraised. So if something were to happen, you at least have pictures and descriptions and things like that.
Okay. That's really good advice. That's so interesting that someone, you have had that situation
Yes.
where someone has come in, they just purchased it at a Rummage, and you're like, oh no, this is
Yep.
a real item.
Yeah. And I think it speaks a lot about our community is that person felt, okay, that they should know and brought it back. So that was nice too. But we get a lot of times where they acquire so many things, they really have no idea what it is. And they look at it and they think, well, that, probably a good size ruby. And come to find out it's a grade A imitation, and they still let the grandkids play with it. So
Sure.
yeah.
How often do you see people inheriting items and then sort of redesigning them and creating their own piece from maybe grandma's jewelry?
All the time. We deal with that all the time. Yeah. And that's the fun thing for us is sometimes you wouldn't always wear what grandma had, or it's kind of just an odd collection of things that you wouldn't necessarily wear. But knowing that they can use the gold, reuse the gold, melt it down into the new piece, use the diamonds, we see that all the time. So it's really fun to help them, and we guide them through the whole process. And then we document for them everything at the end. Is once the piece is created, if they take a bunch of items and they use it and create a ring or a pendant, we take pictures for them. We put it on an insurance appraisal, and it's fully documented on what everything is, and it has the insurance replacement value. So we have that as our records. We provide that to our customers. So if something were to happen, damage, loss, theft, it's documented somewhere.
Okay. So what is that process? If I bring in a pile of things and I want to create something new and different, what is that process that you guys have?
Well, it's for custom. It can be overwhelming for people because they don't know, right? They have no idea what their options are. They have no idea. So a lot of people come to us and they have no idea what they want. So the first stage is just kind of discovery. Let's discover what you have. Let's look at what you have and let's identify it and see if, okay, can we use it? Do you want to use it? Then the second part of the discovery phase is, again, a lot of people don't know what they want. That's where we go that extra mile to find out more about the individual and what do they like to do? In conversation, we discover what some of their likes are as far as jewelry concepts. And then that's where the magic really happens is now we get to play around with the stones and we get to lay stuff out and come up with designs, and we make sure everybody has the proper visual aids. So we do 3-dimensional renderings, wax molds, and it's just, we take that fear of the unknown out of the equation when it comes to custom design. Because it can be. It goes back to that thing you initially asked, which it goes back to trust. Is I know I like this design, and I trust that they're bringing this to life the way that I want. And so our ultimate goal with every customer, whether it's a repair or redesigning grandma's rings or mom's rings, is to make sure that they smile when they get it. That's how we know that it was
A
a
successful
success.
endeavor. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So that process, obviously the design phase probably varies depending on how many revisions and different things there are. But once everything's approved, then how long does that usually take to have that piece back in hand?
Yeah. That it depends on the piece. I would say from the time we get the wax approval, it's about, I mean, we can do it as fast as 2 weeks, but realistically, we like to ask for that 3 or 4 to give our jewelers time, and then it gives us time once it's done to make sure we document it for the appraisal and get it ready. So I'd say on average about that 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fairly fast turnaround. A custom piece of furniture can take 14 to 16 weeks.
Right.
So,
Yep.
yeah. All right. So I know you have some tips. Do you want to give us the tips that you have? Because I was going to ask you one tip that you think every homeowner should know, but maybe you should share your tips that you have.
Yeah, the you kind of ask some good questions here. The biggest things I can point out would be keep an inventory, even if they're $200 or $300 or $400 items. Make sure you have an inventory somewhere. Your heirloom pieces, make sure you have those appraised. Loss, theft, damage, anything like that. You just want to make sure you have proper documentation. That's, I think, from what we see, are the two things: is not having items documented and not having them hidden well enough. Again, it's one of those things. It's ease of use to have the bowl or a little jewelry box or something on the dresser. My biggest thing is at least hide it. At least it's too easy for somebody, if it is going to be a theft situation, it's too easy for somebody to see it there, and it's a matter of seconds if something were to go missing. And then too, if something were to ever happen, a fire or something, if it's in a safe, you know where to go look, and it'll be there. That'd be my biggest takeaway.
Okay.
And when you're doing the build, find a place. If you have an idea of what you're going to be locking away, pre-plan the safe. I think a lot of people plan the safe after the house is built and they're in it. I would plan for what type of safe and where it's going to go, because I think builders these days can get really creative and find ways to tuck it in a convenient spot, but it won't be
it'll be hidden, but not
hidden. Thank you.
Not obvious that
not
it's
obvious.
there. Yeah.
Yes. Or behind a painting. That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So when looking into safes and keeping all of the things secure, do we also want to figure like expansion for our collection? Or do we want to just figure this is what we have and then these are the next places that we're going to store, but have them planned? So what are your thoughts on that?
Excellent point. Yes. If you're just starting out, your collection will grow. So you do kind of want to plan for that. Most jewelry items don't take up too much room, although we do have some jewelry collectors out there that they would tell you different. But I would say for the most part, if what you have fits into your safe now, probably too small. Just get something just a little bit bigger. Okay. But specifically jewelry, or you had mentioned earlier Social Security cards, things like that. You don't need too big of a safe. But when in doubt, you can always go bigger, right?
Yeah.
We say that about diamonds too.
Right. Do you have a favorite piece that you designed?
Oh, we have quite a few. Every year it seems like there's just ones that we photograph all of them, all of the custom designs, because we're proud of all the ones that we do. Over the years, I could probably pick out a handful that are really fun. Most of them are actually from customers. They have this idea in their head, and they don't know how to bring it to life. And those are probably the most fun that we see. That it's just like, wow, that turned out to be a really cool piece. We're working on a ring right now. It's basically like a sunflower
cool.
made of opals, and that is the gal that designed that. That's going to be very cool. So we're in the creation stages of that one.
So how many of the custom designs are like from scratch versus inheritance and redesign?
Well, I would say it's probably 60-40. 60% is customers have something. Maybe it's one diamond, maybe it's multiple items. That would be the other is we see a lot of engagement rings that get custom made, where they have this shape center stone that they like, but then they want this band, and then they want this, so it's cool to start it from scratch and just build it the way they want it.
Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. How do you see Faini continuing to innovate both jewelry and client experience over the coming years?
Ooh,
Another 75.
That's a good one. That's actually a really good one. We have been planning for the last year and a half. We have been rediscovering ourselves the entire process of custom. From the moment our customers pull up to the parking spot, all the way through when they walk in the door, they do the discovery phase with us, the visual aids, everything internally that a lot of people don't see as far as the inner workings, as far as the operations of, getting the materials and the jewelers doing their magic downstairs, back up to the presentation. The last year and a half, we are revamping how we do custom, and we want to set a standard on when you have a custom experience at Faini, it's unlike any other place. So we're now rolling that out this year and doing more things and creating the ultimate experience for the customer. And a lot of that was through internal workings to see how we can do things better, how we can do things different, and make it fun. Custom design should be fun. It should be an experience. You're not going into a store and picking something off the shelf and buying it. You're making it for you. So we want to make sure that experience reflects that. So that's one way we're doing that.
I agree 100%. As in design, it's a huge investment of time and funds, and it should be a really great experience. And I totally agree.
Yeah,
totally agree.
Because you could do the same thing, right? Where you guide customers, you guide them through the whole process, and you kind of build a relationship as you do that with them. And it's fun when you see their faces at the end, and it's all coming together. I think that's exciting.
Yeah, I have several favorite days. Presentation day is always a fun day. Install day is always also a fun day, and picture day is always fun because, and maybe you experience this when you're taking photos of the jewelry, but in design, when we're taking photography of the rooms, the camera sees the room differently than what we actually see it. So photography day is always a bit of a challenge, but exciting because things have to get moved around so that it looks good to the camera.
That's fun.
So those are lots of fun days.
Presentation day, you said? Is that what is presentation day?
Yeah, so presentation day is where we bring our design book that has all of the drawings and all of the mood board selections, and then we lay out all of the selections. And because it's an experience, and we bring champagne and macarons because we're celebrating the kickoff of their project.
That is cool.
They get to touch and feel. They get to see on a 3D illustration of exactly what their home's going to look like in all these rooms with all of the things to touch and feel. So
that is really cool. So you do provide quite the ultimate experience as well.
Yeah,
I like that.
Your home is so important and special to each individual that it really needs to reflect them, and it really needs to be a great experience. It's your home. So.
That's awesome. I think after my wife watches this, if we build again, I think she'll be reaching out. That's really cool.
Yeah, it should be a great experience.
Good. I like that. Fun.
Do you have any other tips and tricks we need to think about when storing our jewelry or planning for?
The only other thing I think that you can probably put with a cherry on top as far as overall security, and it not necessarily just for jewelry, but is some form of security system. If you even, a lot of things that are popular now are the exterior cameras are a huge deterrent when it comes to theft. It's just, that peace of mind that you have a camera up. Usually if somebody sees that, they're going to think twice.
Right. I think I'll not.
Yes. Yeah. That would be the cherry on top. If you were able to do that, invest in just a simple security system of cameras at the very least.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So where can people find you?
We're at 69th and Western. So we're kitty corner from the gas station on 69th and Western in the Heather Ridge Village. It's that beautiful European-looking style village. Yeah.
All right. Social media?
Social media, yeah.
Website?
FainiDesigns.com.
Okay.
You'll find us on Facebook and Instagram. And I think the staff is twisting my arm to get a TikTok. Apparently that's a big thing. So we might be doing some fun videos on that here in the near future.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in. This is really great and super helpful. I know many of our clients have heirloom pieces and investment pieces, and knowing what I, as a designer, need to be talking to them about and thinking about as we're starting in the early phases is super helpful. I can help service them much better in design and helping them secure their pieces.
Glad we could help. And I appreciate you thinking of us and allowing this is really cool. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you for tuning into a Well-Designed Home podcast. We hope today's episode inspired you to take the next steps towards creating the home of your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes are uploaded every Friday afternoon for your listening delight. We'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review to help more listeners discover the show. And while you're at it, sign up for our newsletter at timelessdesignsbymelissa.com to have every episode and other design-related items delivered directly to your inbox. Looking for more resources? Download our complimentary guide, How to Hire the Right Interior Designer, on our website to ensure your next project is a success. Stay connected with us on social media. Follow Timeless Designs by Melissa on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube for behind-the-scenes content, design tips, and so much more. If you're ready to start your own design journey or have questions, reach out to us at concierge@timelessdesignsbymelissa.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for joining us on a Well-Designed Home podcast. Until next time, here's to making every space a timeless reflection of you.